All right, let's just jump right in. We've all been there, right? You've got this brilliant idea, it's ready to change the world, and then everything just grinds to a halt. Why? Well, it's usually because managing your intellectual property, your patents, your trademarks, the very soul of your innovation means your R&D, legal, and marketing teams all have to be in perfect harmony. And let's be honest, that can feel completely impossible sometimes. So today, we're going to map out a route from that frustrating traffic jam straight onto the IP superhighway. So let me just ask you this. Does your company's innovation pipeline ever feel just stuck? You know, like you're in total gridlock, just sitting there watching your competitors fly by in the fast lane? You've got the horsepower, you know where you want to go, but you are going absolutely nowhere. Well, that feeling, it has a name. It's what we call the innovation traffic jam. It is that maddening state where a total lack of coordination between your teams creates one giant bottleneck, holding up your best ideas. It's really the silent killer of momentum. Okay, so before we can even think about hitting that express lane, we first have to understand what's causing the jam in the first place. Let's take a closer look at the common causes and, more importantly, the very real consequences of these IP delays. You know, the root cause of these jams is almost always the same thing. It's teams working in their own little silos. Picture this. R&D develops some breakthrough invention, but they wait weeks to share the details with the legal team. That one little delay could put the entire patent filing at risk. It's usually not one big catastrophic failure, but a whole series of these small but very costly disconnects. And believe me, the costs are steep. This isn't just about some project being delayed, it's a domino effect. Think about it. A delayed trademark application could leave your shiny new brand name completely exposed. A competitor could just swoop in and register it first. That's a perfect example of how one tiny process failure can have a direct, painful impact on your position in the market. Okay, so that's the problem. It's messy, it's expensive, and it's just plain frustrating. But, and this is the good news, there is a clear roadmap out of this gridlock. The solution is really built on three foundational pillars that get right to the root causes of the jam. And here they are. These are your three pillars for building that IP superhighway. First up, getting the right people and processes in place. Second, giving them the best tools and technology. And third, and this is a big one, fostering a company-wide culture and mindset that actually prioritizes IP. We're going to break down every single one.
So let's start with pillar number 1, people and process. This is all about setting the rules of the road. It's about creating such crystal clear structure that everyone knows exactly which lane they're supposed to be in, where they're headed, and how to signal to all the other drivers on the road.
So the most important thing here is clarity. Just look at this table. It seems simple, right? But it is so powerful. Every single key IP task needs a clear owner. R&D handles invention documentation. Legal owns the filing deadlines. Marketing is in charge of brand strategy. When you define ownership like this, nothing falls through the cracks. It creates accountability, and it keeps everyone focused on their part of the mission. Now, clear ownership is step 1. A smooth workflow is step 2. A great way to start is by appointing one single point of contact in each team. Communication just gets instantly streamlined. Then you build a shared, visible workflow. Handoffs become crisp and clean. R&D knows exactly what legal needs before a patent application is started, maybe using a simple checklist. I'm telling you, this isn't rocket science, but boy is it effective. All right, on to pillar 2, tools and technology. Once you've got the rules of the road down, you've got to upgrade your vehicle. The right technology can seriously take your IP process from a sputtering old clunker to a high-performance machine. And the difference here is like night and day. The old way, it's just a mess of endless email chains, confusing spreadsheets, and it all relies on someone, some poor soul, manually tracking deadlines in their calendar. The new way is all about flow. Centralized platforms give everyone full visibility. Automated reminders mean a critical deadline is never, ever missed. You're literally moving from chaos to clarity. So what does this tech toolkit actually look like? Well, at its core, you've got an IP management system. Think of it as the single source of truth for all your assets and deadlines. Then you can layer on project management tools, things like Asana or Trello, to track who needs to do what by when. And crucially, you automate the boring stuff, like renewal reminders. That frees up your team's valuable brainpower for more strategic work. And that brings us to our final and, arguably the most important pillar of all, culture and mindset.
You can have the absolute best processes and the fanciest tools in the world, but if your people don't have the right mindset, you're still going to end up in a traffic jam. This is all about building a mindset for speed. This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of the matter. IP is not just a legal thing, it is a shared company-wide responsibility. When everyone in the organization, from the engineers in the lab to the marketers crafting a campaign, understands that they have a role to play in protecting the company's ideas, the entire system shifts from being reactive to being proactive.
So how do you actually build this culture? Well, you can start by providing basic IP training for everyone, not just the lawyers. You encourage teams to think about patents or trademarks at the very beginning of a project, not as an afterthought. And you celebrate the wins. When leadership recognizes and rewards teams for their IP contributions, it sends a powerful message that says, hey, this matters to all of us.
So when you bring all three pillars together, people and process, tools and technology, and that crucial culture and mindset, you don't just clear a few bottlenecks. You actually build a strategic IP superhighway. And that is the final destination we're all aiming for.
Ultimately, it's really a choice between two very different paths. You can stay stuck in the innovation traffic jam with all its constant delays, risks, and competitive disadvantages, or you can get on the superhighway, which gives you incredible speed, proactive protection, and turns your IP into a genuine engine for strategic growth.
And here is probably the most important takeaway from all of this. Effective IP management isn't just a defensive legal checklist. It's a powerful, offensive, strategic asset. It's the thing that allows you to innovate faster, protect your turf, and drive real, sustainable growth for your business.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own organization. If you look at your processes, your tools, and your culture, what is the single biggest bottleneck that's holding you back right now? And what's the very first step you're going to take to clear it?